Hello viewers, welcome back to Candid Conversations with Ganesh Kuppala. You have heard many global leaders on my show, but today I'm really excited to bring a legend onto the show. The man that I'm going to speak to you and introduce to you today is not less than an encyclopedia or a business legend actually. He started his journey with a very humble background, but then he went on to build a huge computer business. Then he went on to a telecom huge giant in India. Then into coffee business and rest of all other stuff as well. And right now he is actually, bringing reverse aging as a mechanism in biotech industry. Sounds really, really fascinating. I'm really proud to introduce Sivashankaran.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Because the next few moments are about to bring you face to face with a true game changer. A man who's made it his mission to transform not just industries, but lives. Please give a huge round of applause as we welcome the visionary, the trailblazer, the unstoppable force, Mr. Sivasankaran. From launching Sterling Computers in 1998 and making personal computers affordable for millions, to shaking up the telecom world with Aircel, where he gave us ₹1 per minute calling, free night calls, free SMS, and incoming calls at no cost. Mr. Siva has always been about breaking barriers and making access universal. But here's what most people don't know. His wellness journey started way back in 1990. Long before it was a trend, he was living it, sharing health tips, guiding friends and family, and when it worked, he brought it into the workplace. By 2002, all his employees were part of his wellness vision, with healthier food, healthier habits, and a healthier future. Whether it was tech, telecom, coffee, or wellness, one thing has stayed constant. Mr. Siva's passion for bringing powerful, life-changing solutions to everyone at a price they can afford. And true to that passion, in 2019, he began mentoring AIWO to take wellness to every corner of India, north to south, east to west, a movement for the mind, body, and soul. So, buckle up and open your hearts, because you're about to hear from a man who's not just built businesses, he's built better lives. Please make some noise and join me in welcoming the one and only Mr. Sivasankaran.
Ganesh, thank you for having me in your show. But what excites me today is that today's science, it is not a science fiction.
Yeah.
Whatever we are talking is becoming a protocol.
Yeah.
And I built companies like Aircel, where I learned that we have to take it to the people in a massive scale. Scaling is important and precision is important.
So true. So true.
I am not in the business of medical tourism. I am in the business of precision, cellular aging reversal.
Okay. So, but before we get to the biotech business, Shivji, I want to understand your journey briefly. You started with Sterling Computers.
No, I started with engineering.
Okay.
Sadhavana engineering, went to Sterling Computers.
Okay.
From computers, I went to communication.
Okay.
And then I went to basic needs of coffee, internet, data, DSL. And then I built a submarine cable and satellites. Okay. And then finally, now I am mentoring AIWO for the entire 140 crore people in India to have good health.
Brilliant. So what's excited me, Shivji, when I looked at your portfolio, the kind of businesses that you built, you became a billionaire very young age, right? So when was your first billion?
I made my first billion when I was 41 years old.
That's amazing.
I made my second billion at 47.
Wow.
And then when I was 58, I lost $2 billion.
That's the Aircel story.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds interesting. It takes me time for me to digest. You lost 2 billion.
Yeah. But you can lose money without you making mistakes.
Yeah.
It is like you go in the car, you are driving safely in London, but an opposite a truck comes and hits you.
Stunning. Oh my God. I can't go away from that kind of story because it's amazing to hear. How did you build that billions? Like, did you have a huge background?
You are asking about the past, but I'm here to talk about the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about the future, but I just want to understand the past a bit. Yeah.
Because the past we cannot change.
Yeah, I know.
But the future we can change.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I'm building a $8 billion business.
Wow.
And it is scalable, precision, and based on data, not on fiction.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So this business that you're talking about, right? So it's you. What fascinated me yesterday while I was talking to you is the concept of reverse aging, and you're touching.
Basically, we take care of your cellular aging, and if you do upstream, then you protect it downstream. You won't get Alzheimer, Parkinson, heart disease, etc. Okay, and we can easily help with today's technology to get at least 5 years of more biological age for you.
That's amazing. But considering all that, as I was mentioning in my intro, you are a serial entrepreneur. You've done so much in the entrepreneurship. So you'd have learned a lot of things from each of your businesses, right?
Yeah.
So what are the learnings that you're bringing to this business as a starting point?
I am bringing two things in this business.
Yeah.
One is precision scaling, and the second I bring is timing.
Okay.
See, you can have the best business, but timing is important.
Yeah.
Today, in 2025, technology is available, and by 2027, throughout the world, the technology will be well known. See, think like artificial intelligence for your healthcare.
Okay.
It is not just like building an apps. Everything we measure. For example, AIWO takes 500 measurements of you from blood, from MRI, from ultrasound, from CT scan. So with the data, we make customized only for you precious thing, what you should do and what you should not do, and we hold your hands. Most of the people know where they want to go, but they also know that they are not there. Okay. So AIWO will take them there and keep them there.
Okay, let's break down this journey, Shivji. I just want to understand clearly because, as I said, it's a fascinating concept when you talk about reverse aging. Because while we decided that we want to come on to the podcast, I was speaking to my wife and kids and all of them and the UK, it's a very popular concept in UK that, they want to kind of limit your aging or age gracefully and all that stuff you talk about, right? So what is it like? Is it like you track the cells, you track the organs? How does it work?
See, your blood will not lie.
Okay.
So we take a blood test. That comes nearly 400 markers.
Okay.
Then we take a full body MRI.
Okay.
Ultrasound, CT scan. So we have a basic data.
Okay.
Then we correct your posture.
Okay.
Then we improve your cognizance.
Okay.
Ganesh, suppose your intelligence is 1x today.
Okay.
See, AIWO has got technology in 3 weeks to make it as 3x.
Amazing.
I strongly want you to come to India.
Sure, absolutely,
and spend 1 week in AIWO Health Education, and you will see in 3 weeks a remarkable improvement in your life.
Brilliant.
And also, my argument for Indians as well as people who are listening in UK, you improve your health, which will help you to improve your wealth.
That's true. So true.
In fact, without health, if you make wealth, you cannot enjoy that wealth. So it is more important that you become health.
Okay, brilliant. So whenever this kind of concepts comes out, right, Shiva, so the first fundamental questions from consumer is it scientifically proven?
Only science.
Yeah.
We speak science, and all our treatment are based on evidence. See, we give 3 kinds of evidence.
Okay.
First evidence we give, what is the problem you have? Because you may not know all the problems that you have. Okay. And second, we give a treatment plan with the evidence.
Okay.
Then we retest and adjust accordingly how your body responds.
So you're talking about all this within the week or whatever the time? Okay.
Test. See, our philosophy is very simple. First we do test.
Okay.
Then we treat.
Okay.
Then we retest.
Okay.
And then we heal you in India with the best doctors, scientists, nutritionists, therapists, and healers.
Wow, brilliant. So this is going to be a game changer. I know. Because okay, let's talk about some maths here, like statistics and all. Like how many patients or how many consumers that you had?
We have done last year for 240 patients for this 1 week health program from 41 countries.
41 countries.
And
Europe is part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the performance rate is 99.98%.
That's stunning.
We had one complaint which has nothing to do with medicine. The Innova car that we hired, the safety belt was not working, so I lost 0.02%. Yeah.
Okay, but let me come to the process, right? Let's talk through, because I want my audience to understand how this works. And let me tell you, my audience are primarily US, UK, and India, South Asian audience. That's my core audience group.
Your audience are people in this world.
Yeah, I know, people of the world. Yeah. But primarily, most of my audience, the show audience are coming either from Europe or US and South Asian community. So primary question they generally ask is as I said, when it comes to Indian community background or South Asian, it's more about stats. They look at how things worked and all. If you want to clearly explain the process, like if somebody signs up for this program, for example, what happens?
Nothing. We pick them from Chennai or Mumbai airport.
Wherever they are coming from, they land in Chennai, for example.
They come and the next day morning we take a blood test.
Okay.
And we start a battery of tests. We assess their posture. And we teach them a lot of small things, from how to handle cold, how to go to sauna, how to breathe, how to sleep. We do sleep test. We fix everything. And most of my customers will have a mitochondrial dysfunction. We will fix that.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? They are not able to produce energy. They are not active.
Okay.
They don't feel younger. They become fatigued.
And who proves all this stuff? Like, is that
all
set
the
of doctors
best
that you have?
135 specialist doctors we have.
Oh.
In fact, it's so funny that most of my patients are doctors.
That's interesting. So how do they come to you? What do they tell you? What is the story?
No, you should actually interview some of the UK patients that we treated.
Yeah, I heard from some of the Bloomberg people. I know.
Yesterday, Bloomberg
I met them.
people,
Yeah,
NHS doctors.
I met them. Yeah.
Some people I can't name it because of privacy.
Yeah.
But there are many people who has given testimony. You go to internet and check.
Brilliant. So.
And also, we take your gene test, we take your epigenetic test,
okay.
We figure out your rate of aging,
okay.
And we will help you to slow that.
Okay. Yeah. And what is the claim that you're doing? Like, how much reverse aging can you do? Like, for example, let's take a case study. For instance, let's take me, for example, okay? And audience, I was in a conference, Indian medical conference yesterday, and Shivakumar was there, and Sivashankaran was there, and at the same time, a bunch of other doctors were there as well. And the kind of response that they were, giving to Sivashankaran ji, I was actually stunned. And you're not a doctor by profession.
No, if I am a doctor, I could not have done all these things.
Stunning. Yeah.
My name is Siva.
Yeah.
Historically, Siva is the yogis of the yogis.
Yeah.
My job is to help the doctors because at the end of the day, these doctors play a vital role in the society, and they can treat number of patients. See, to scale up, I am interested in helping 23 lakhs doctors in India.
Okay.
That is how I can scale. Only they have to treat the patients.
Right.
We will provide the technology and the experience and the blueprint for them.
So what are the common issues that you have seen in the 250 plus patients that you have, AIWO has treated in the last 1 year?
Visceral fat.
Okay.
Okay. The main issues that I see after COVID, they have a cognitive impairment, breathing difficulties.
Okay.
They have COPD, sleep-related problem. See, for example, 80% of the mark for health is for breathing and sleeping. And most of the patients that I come, I see. They all lack breathing and sleeping.
And why do you think it is? Is it the lifestyle thing?
Maybe lifestyle, or maybe they haven't understood that even if you spend $10 million without fixing breathing and sleeping, you will not get good health. And many people don't understand between lifespan and health span. See, lifespan is your heart beating, it is lifespan. You don't get sickness for all 365 days, it's a health span.
That's interesting. So the methodology that you're talking about, I understood. Like, somebody comes there for a week and gets energized or whatever. There are certain things.
You fix all the problems.
Correct. But what is the longevity of it?
Yeah. The longevity depends upon the person. He can visit just once in his lifetime to me and fix his problems and get a pathway to wellness.
Okay.
Or people can come every year. For example, the gentleman from Bloomberg you met yesterday, he has already come twice. And he told me yesterday you want to come next year also, that time.
Yeah. And while during this journey, right, I mean, what is the biggest bottleneck for you? Like,
I have no bottleneck.
Are you sure?
I have designed it for scalability.
Okay.
So we will go to 133 countries in the next 3 years. We will train all the doctors and we will create partnership with all the fitness people, fitness gurus. And our model is very interesting. All decisions is based on your data, which is measurable. And what can be measured alone can be improved.
Yeah.
So when you come to AIWO, we treat you, we give you a baseline measurement, and we show the progress after 1 week, how much you achieved. And then the progress is continued. Every 90 days you can take a test and see that you are improving.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking these questions, right, Mr. Shiva, is primarily whenever something like this, right, game-changing the stuff comes in, there will be a lot of controversy, right? People will come up and say, is it scientific? People will come up say there is no proof, or the people, because while I'll tell you my personal story, right? I can't talk about others, but in my personal story, for example, when I was, yes, there is a genetic aspect to my life, right? I mean, so I started putting on weight, and I'll come to the question. Yes. Yeah, then I'm sure you'll have answer. So then there a bunch of people started telling me different things. Some came up and said, like, do OMAD, 1 meal a day. And some people said, like, don't eat rice, just eat millets. And India is tons of solutions with one problem, but eventually most of the solutions wouldn't work. In this jeopardy, like, too many things, why, I mean, if you have to answer the question that, why would somebody kind of strongly believe? Is it the testimonials which answers, or is it like you have suggested? Okay.
Data. See, for example, take you. If I were you, the first thing I will take care of is visceral fat. Because visceral fat creates inflammation. So we will do a DEXA for you and measure your body composition and your bone density. And then we will improve. Okay. We are staying out of any controversy or thing because whatever we do, it is measurable and scientific evidence is there.
And backed by, you're saying, 130 specialists.
135 specialist doctors. See, for example, I have doctors who are trained in US and UK. Chennai is like a medical city.
I know.
See, I'll give you a smart example. In London, if you need to meet 5 or 10 specialists, it will take 3 months.
It takes life, actually.
You do it on the same day here there.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but it's very difficult in some situations where, like, and not only UK, but most of the countries where you have like likes of NHS or government-run bodies, it becomes a really difficult phase when to get appointments and all. I mean, UK government is one of the top priorities, and I appreciate the current government doing some changes, but it is still a challenge. You don't get appointments and all. So that's why I was interested in understanding more about your AIWO. So if somebody travels from here, for example, a lot of my friends, colleagues, wants to kind of everyone goes for a holiday trip, and it's very popular to talk about staycations these days, right? I mean, you go out there probably Kerala, do some Ayurvedic trip of 3 to 5 days, get rejuvenated and all. These are like a common concept that are. So how is it different from that? Or why is it?
We don't do Ayurvedic.
Okay.
We may use ashwagandha extract.
Yeah.
But we are not. See, it is fully science-based. Okay. First, I want you to understand that wellness is not the opposite of illness.
Okay.
It is absent of illness. So, we do everything what the scientific evidence says.
Okay.
And we are open. See, it's an open health platform.
And when a guest comes to you, say like you have how many tests you have? Like 160? What is the kind of number of tests?
All the total biomarkers we do about 13 tests.
13 tests.
And we handle more than 500 biomarkers.
Okay.
Yeah. And suppose you are having about 30 biomarkers off. We work on that and fix it.
Okay.
We look at the common denominator. For example, take your health example. You have a fatty liver. By fixing your fatty liver, your health will improve.
Yeah.
See, there are only 3 kind of restrictions possible for you, Ganesh. One is called food restriction. You eat certain foods, like you are telling what you eat. Second thing is, you have a time restriction. Okay, you eat only certain amount, like OMAD or 2 meals or intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
The third one is calorie restriction. There is nothing in the world more than these 3.
Yeah, so true.
Where we score better is that we will study your posture, your forward head posture. Your knee has come in the front. Okay, we will fix that. Okay. Yesterday we were trying to fix
I know.
head posture.
I know.
Yeah.
We discussed about that. But yeah, not only me. What surprised me that day, yesterday is like, even the CEO of Sunrise was there and he was going through this.
Doctors, yeah.
A bunch of doctors. And guys, you need to listen to this because the reason I brought somebody like this onto the show itself is because I have seen life-changing moments yesterday, to be really honest. Because I've seen a bunch of certified doctors, CEOs of huge hospitals going through this test.
Yeah.
And they were coming back and saying, like, my head posture is not correct, my knee posture is not correct. I was like, dude, guys, you are doctors. And then I came back to Mr. Shiva and asked him, like, who do you serve the most? And you mentioned, surprisingly, most of your patients are doctors.
Yeah.
And which is extremely surprising. Why do you think, that's where the interest of podcast came into me.
I have taken a mission in my life.
Okay.
I always address fundamental problem. Okay. And I am very curious and passionate about that. Okay. So, there are 23 lakh doctors in India whose average age is 59.
Isn't that too less, 23 lakhs, for Indian size of India?
Let us address this problem.
Okay.
The thing.
Yeah.
But what is important is that the average age is only 59. My first mission in my life is to make this doctor's average life to 95.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you see that as possible.
Yeah. Why? Because they spent 10 years in education, medical education. And if they die in 59 itself, we do not get any benefit. If they live 95 and they give 30 years of more service to Indian people, we can fix India's health problem or wellness problem. Okay.
Brilliant.
And also, you should not be surprised that the doctors listen. They are trained to treat illness. See, previously, in the last 30 years, now we are in medicine 3, version 3.
Yeah.
Yesterday in the meeting I said, up to penicillin is version 1. Penicillin to COVID is 2. After COVID, let us call version 3. That is how Dr. Peter Attia calls.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we want doctors to help the patient to treat their illness and take them to wellness.
Yeah.
Because once you get a illness, the outcome you can't predict. But if you are in wellness, you won't get the illness. That is the whole concept.
Yeah. So when I was talking to one of the, while I know that I'm going to speak to you, so I rang a doctor, friend of mine, and asked him, like, I'm going to speak to Mr. Sivashankaran, and he's talking about, like, reverse aging and all that stuff. So one of the skeptics said, I want to bring that to you, that he says, like, one needs to focus on diseases first. Then all this stuff comes in. Like, people who are passing 40-year-old and all, a bunch of diseases already in the body.
Yeah, we can.
So how do you respond to this question? So if a doctor says, focus on your diseases.
Is true. No. See, from the doctor point of view, what he says is right. Because, as I mentioned to you, wellness is not the opposite of illness, it's absent of illness. So when you are there, we first treat your illness and then take you to wellness.
Correct.
I will give you a business example so that your viewers can understand easily. Suppose you come as an entrepreneur and tell me, Siva, I am at a minus 10 million pounds. I want to make 20 million. So first I have to remove your minus 10 million loss.
Correct.
And then make another 20 million. So correct. That means, I have to guide you to make 30 million so that 10 million loss is adjusted and you make a profit of 20 million. It's true.
Brilliant. So, again, I know you mentioned about let's talk about the future, but I'm a bit interested in understanding, in your learnings, because you did so much and all that credibility won't go away, right? I mean, you have built such a kind of businesses, such a huge business. No, I'll finish my question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you built Sterling Computers, you then built Aircel, you sold it for like, you sold it to Malaysian businessman, right? I mean, and then there was a talk about like AT&T says buying Aircel and all that stuff. But while it was around 2018, because I was in core into I'm a finance guy, by the way. So finance and tax interest me the most. So I just want to understand the reason there is an element of health in this. That's the reason I'm coming to that question. While all this stress was happening, were you going through any mental health thing at all?
No.
Because you're losing billions, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
You see, my attachment is on the outcome. My attachment is not on the byproduct of profit.
Okay.
So I have nothing to be unhappy. So in other words, if someone comes and says, Siva, suppose I want to take you back, which moment you don't want? I will say, no, I enjoyed everything, including losing the money.
No regrets.
No regrets. In fact, if I have not lost this 2 billion, I would not be like other billionaires. Okay. So,
were you able to sleep that day? Were you able to sleep that day?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, resilience I have. And second thing, let me tell about aging.
Yeah.
Aging is a cellular damage. And biology is complex. I always take complex problem and solve it and make it affordable and easy for people.
Yeah. I still remember, okay. I mean, for those probably younger generation, you would have not, you don't remember. While India was going through this tariffs of telephone charges, like, there used to be 8 rupee per minute charge and all that stuff, right? I mean, I'm sure you remember. You introduced, exactly. That's what
I made the whole all India as a...
That was a game changer. Yeah. That was a game changer because when Aircel introduced, Ambani's were not even in the business back then. And what you brought in, I still remember seeing that ad. I mean, any state is the same for you? I mean, like throughout the India, you call it the same rate. Brilliant.
I was the first company in India who never charged for receiving calls. Or sending messages. Okay. So all these things is innovation.
And disruption as well.
Let me talk about this wellness.
No, it's similar thing. The reason I was bringing that is similar disruption is what you're trying to bring in biotech.
That is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Because I want people to understand aging is a cellular damage. I am not here to create people immortal. I don't believe in immortal.
No.
Okay. I believe that death is like delaying a paragraph. See, you can delay your death. You can delay your diseases. Okay. Just remove your senescent cells. See, you can get a smart energy by practicing mitophagy, by eating good food. and properly training your body and mind together, you can create good wealth also. So fundamentally, I want people to understand, if they are interested in wealth, first improve your health.
True.
And the health will help you to get the wealth and enjoy the wealth also.
Yeah. So the question there is, like, is it more of a mindset game here, or is it more like, the reason I'm asking this, Mr. Shiva, is I did speak to a lot of social impact leaders on the show who talks about mental health being the biggest element of driving your physical health, right? So what's your take on, how important is it, especially in the last 2-3 years after COVID, right? Post-COVID, there was a number of symptoms which got in, and people got into additional stress, working from home, hybrid ways of working. There's no 20/20 rule. People don't get up and walk around. All that stuff doesn't happen. There are no tea breaks, no coffee breaks. You sit in the conference call throughout the day. So what's your take on that? How do you see this? And how are you linking that to AIWO?
See, in AIWO, we teach people, motivation will take you to only certain level. But discipline will make you successful. But if you have obsession, I want to have a good health, you will definitely achieve. Whether with AIWO or without AIWO, develop an obsession for having a good health. And the good health not only helps you, it helps your family, it helps your country, it helps the world.
True.
That is why I'm here.
Yeah. Yesterday you were mentioning one of the key phrases I remember from the conversation is, he mentioned you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
So do you want to elaborate on that? I mean, no one loves any.
What happened? Somewhere on the line, when they are a child, they loved their parents.
Yeah.
Then they loved their brothers. They got married, they loved their wife. But they forget to love themselves. And to love yourself, you should practice selfishness.
Can you elaborate? What does it mean?
No, see, you consider what is good for you and do only that. See, you go to a marriage, there will be desserts, there will be fried appetizers.
Correct.
But when you practice selfishness, you will eat the vegetables and skip salads, and you know what is good for you, and you will skip the desserts. And you won't do alcohol or smoking.
Amazing.
See, smoking is a #1 killer for heart disease. Alcohol is the biggest enemy for your nervous system and for your liver.
And the stats, again, Mr. Shiva, I want you to touch on this very specifically. Please do go deep into this. When I was looking at the stats, for example, India, the highest deaths are due to cancer as a top item, like in terms of the disease count. Then it comes the heart attacks, like a cardiac arrest, or you want to call it as whatever. Like there is a different kind of heart diseases. So what is your take on these two? Like, is there a way we can prevent these two, especially cancer and
everything you can prevent.
Let's talk about these two specifically. Yeah.
We have a scorecard.
Okay.
If you can keep your glycosylated hemoglobin, HbA1c, there are two sweet spots for that.
Okay.
5 to 5.3. And keep your C-reactive protein less than 1. And keep your HOMA-IR less than 1. And keep your triglycerides divided by HDL to less than 2. Or now a new biomarker is available, ApoB, to less than 30. You will skip all these things. And also one thing AIWO is trying to do, which nobody has done in the world, we are willing to work on outcome-based fee structure. See, for example, you arrive in India.
Then pay. Okay.
We will get you all these four and then pay.
Are you promising it?
Yeah.
Are you saying it right now?
Right now.
On the show?
On the show.
So somebody can sign up?
Somebody can sign up, come there, we will get you a scorecard, okay, and then you make the money. You give us our fees. Okay.
Sounds brilliant.
Yeah. The problem in India and other countries is, see, for example, in India, 65 crore, 650 million blood tests was done. But you know how much follow-up action was been done? Less than 3%. People take tests. And they are not very serious to improve the biomarkers. Okay. And second thing, people does not understand which biomarker to track. See, if you take liver, if you track your gamma GT to 12 to 15, your ALT, AST to 17, 15, and if you add all the three numbers is less than 50, okay, you will not have non-alcoholic fatty liver. That means, you will not develop insulin resistance. That means your kidney, you won't get diabetes. In one of the shows I went and said, if you get diabetes, that is like a passport to death. You are marked for death and slowly you will progress. So reverse it.
But that's increasing a lot, especially countries like Western countries, right? I mean, you know that the two major challenges, both in US and rest of the world as well, the biggest problem is diabetes. And India as well. India is the diabetes capital of the world, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the cases are increasing in both US and UK as well. I mean, across the Europe. And fundamentally, it's most of the people, doctors come back and say it's a lifestyle thing as well. You have to change your lifestyle. Obesity then drives to diabetes. Like, people come back and debate. I mean, I personally had debates with few people talking about, okay, it's genetic and I was speaking to one of the doctors on this show just a few weeks back. And I explained him that, so bunch of people comes back to us and says, I mean, including myself, like, how genetics impact this? Because
genetics impacts only 7%.
Okay, that's a very
Think
good
like this, Ganesh.
Yeah.
Genetics is like a bullet loaded in the
gun.
Yeah. But pushing that lever is by you. Trigger is by you. So 93%
can be changed.
Change it.
Okay. And you have stats to prove it.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. So one more question I had for you, Mr. Sivashankaran, is when you're talking about AIWO, how do you present this? Like, you're a founder, you're a mentor of AIWO.
I'm a mentor of AIWO.
You're a mentor of AIWO.
I do not have any equity in AIWO.
That makes sense.
Okay. And now, what is my philosophy is, people do not understand how to regenerate. People do not understand cellular inflammation. Okay. I am here to teach the entire world about cellular inflammation, senescent cells, autophagy, mitophagy, and how the food plays an important role. For a country like India, where the food is abundant now, people are become obese by eating wrong food.
Not a good food, right? I mean, the problem is plenty of this food that we are talking about is either chemical, it's not organic.
The biggest problem is forget about organic or non-organic. If you take a fussy drink with the 56 grams of sugar, I don't want to name them. But
killer.
You know what do they do when you add 56 grams of sugar in a glass and drink? You will vomit.
Yeah.
You know what these soft drink companies do? They add phosphoric acid so that you don't vomit.
Wow. So it's almost poisoning people.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is what I'm trying to explain to them.
Are you going to fight with them?
No.
Because
I want to follow Gandhian principle.
Gandhi fought.
Gandhi fought not violently.
No, I did not say violently.
Peacefully.
Yeah, peacefully,
so
yes.
This podcast for me is a peaceful fighting, reminding people that you love yourself, start breathing, start sleeping, and eat healthy food, avoid fried food, avoid seed oils. Okay, that is the concept.
And how easy for anybody, like, okay, one is coming to AIWO is one concept that you're explaining. But for a generic person, like, if somebody is sitting in London or Denmark, anywhere, how do they know that they have sleeping problems?
Oh, if you are sleeping with your partner, your partner will be able to tell you. But unfortunately, if you are sleeping alone, okay, we can do a sleep test.
Okay.
All our patients customers in AIWO, we do sleep test.
Okay. That's one of the primary tests you do. Okay.
There's a AHI number.
And most of the findings are negative, is it? Like people are not sleeping well?
They will come out, will come out with if they come out with less than 5, they are okay. Suppose they come out with 18 or 32. So we treat them, we handhold them and bring them to normal. We remove COPD.
Okay. And what's the minimum hours of sleep that is needed for
7 hours.
7 hours. And do you have any age limits or any age?
Target 7 hours.
Okay.
Because in the deep sleep only your body recovers. So the deep sleep, REM sleep, slow sleep, all important. And also, if your readers want a shortcut, do not try to skip dinner or eat before 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Bring down your resting heart rate and increase your heart rate variability, HRV. And bring down your rate of breath. And always measure your oxygen things. See, now wearables are there.
Right.
Okay. So it will accurately measure you and tell you.
It's extremely important. And second concept that you mentioned is one is sleep, which we spoke about just now. The second is breathing. Because I did not realize that there will be, like a general person may not even realize that there is a breathing issue. They might think it is normal.
93% of the people are suffering with breathing issues.
Like what?
They do not breathe properly.
When you say properly, what do you mean by it?
Properly means you need to be able to control your parasympathetic nervous system. See, for example, you are in a podcast, you want to change to parasympathetic, take a double breath and slowly release it in your mouth, like as if you are holding a straw 2-3 times. Your parasympathetic nervous system will change.
Your energy will... So it's kind of pranayama, right? I mean, it's similar to yoga.
See, all people talk about pranayama and yoga. The problem is, they need to know only when you practice, you get a benefit.
I know. That makes a lot of difference. Amazing. And AIWO helps people to kind of bring this into a structure. That's what I'm trying to understand. So when somebody comes to you, you kind of make sure, whatever their past journey is, you shake it up and you say that, you know what, you've got to sit into this pattern.
I'll tell you a joke. On 17th of June, I conducted a summit for health and wealth in Leela Palace in Chennai.
Okay.
500 people attended. And 230 of them are doctors. And first time in their life, they took a breakfast, lunch, dinner with no added sugar, less carbohydrates. That day, all my participants in the seminar, the summit, they took only around 56 to 80 grams of carbs. You said that the diabetes capital is India. Did anyone explain how you can prevent yourself without coming to AIWO? Can I explain you?
Yeah, please.
Whatever you eat, once it goes to the throat, your body understands only macronutrient. 3 macronutrients. One is carbohydrate, second is protein, third is fat. There is a essential fat. See, for example, you are in UK, eat half avocado every day. Take olive oil. Take 1 or 2 macadamia nut. Almond 6 pieces. Walnut. Okay, good fat.
Brilliant. And you talked about blueberries as well. Right?
Blueberries is for the anthocyanin. Okay. Now, there is nothing called essential carbohydrate.
Okay.
But there is a adequate protein. So, your body weight in kilos, take 1.2 grams to 2 grams of protein. And protein can be plant protein. Okay.
Like soya.
Is it okay? Only soya.
Is soya okay?
Not only soya. Soya is okay, limited.
Okay.
Because some studies say for women it creates estrogen problems. But soya is okay, limited, if you are not allergic to it. But most easiest thing is urud dal, black urud dal. With the skin. Chickpeas.
South Indian food anyways has it, right? That's the good thing, Okay. Amazing.
So that is the idea. So you get a good health. And then wake up in the morning, see the sun, fix your circadian rhythm. Okay, take a ginger tea in the morning with Himalayan salt to hydrate your body.
Brilliant.
And after 6 o'clock in the evening, don't watch TV, don't get exposure of blue light. Okay, prepare your mind. And do a grateful practice. And do a meditation. See, the problem is, in English, like 26 English letter, Shakespeare used only 26 English letter, you know. Like that, in India, yoga is known, breathing is known, vegetables are known, urad dal is known, okay, everything is known. But
usage.
You are not practicing it.
True, so true, so true. So let's talk about AIWO in specific, right? I mean, you call it as a biotech company. Are you more of a technology driven, or how do you want to?
It is like a bel puri.
Okay.
Okay, we do biotechnology. It's a wellness company. And then we have psychologists, we have therapists, healers, doctors. See, when I get you a blood result, you require expert doctors, 15 people to meet you. We arrange everything.
Brilliant. Okay, that's amazing. Sounds really interesting, and all the ideas and suggestions you gave are really, really impressive, Mr. Sivashankaran. Do you want to close with like what do you want to say to the audience? Like, why should they visit AIWO?
See, at
Please
one visit
Yeah.
of you going to Harley Street or to a private doctor in London, you can get 1 week of staying in a palace and eating like a king and taking all the tests in the world. Nothing you need to spend. You can come and spend 1 week health education in AIWO, leaving your credit card in your home.
And this covers accommodation, everything?
Everything for £6,000.
Okay, brilliant. All right, so watch out, my audience. It's a message to you. I'm not here to recommend anything, but I did hear great stuff about this. That's the reason I brought Mr. Shiva onto the show. But what I can tell you is, like, with the history of what he has done in the business world, likes of Aircel, Barista, and Sterling Computers. Now that he picked up this, that's what excited me, because I've seen the kind of he's not a normal man. I mean, he's a founder of Aircel, who actually disrupted the entire telecommunication market in India. And one of the multi-billion companies was built within just few years and then sold to a big company. And then he picked up like one of my most favorite coffee shops. I mean, I used to love smoothies in Barista, and that was built by him. And Sterling Computers was by him. So looking at all that credentials, Mr. Shiva, I was like fascinated to see, why is he picking up reverse aging? What is there in it? More than the concept, you actually excited me. Why he is picking it into this?
See, I am converting wellness business and medical business into not a medical tourism, but an outcome-based treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
That is the idea.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Shiva. Thank you so much for your time. Audience, let's come back and discuss about other topics in the next show. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.